Pause for a moment. Just stop. Before we dive in, think back to the last time you were in a tense room or a difficult conversation. Maybe it was a meeting at work, a family dinner, or a talk with your partner. Now recall the person who was the loudest, the one whose voice filled the space. And now think about the person who was the quietest. Maybe that person was you. What was the energy around them? It wasn't empty, was it? It was heavy. It was powerful. If you're a naturally quiet person, you live in a constant paradox. You're often overlooked, but at the same time, your silence can make people deeply uncomfortable, even suspicious. They try to fill your silence. They get louder, more animated, trying to provoke a reaction. They might ask, "What are you thinking?" or "Are you mad at me?" Your lack of reaction is interpreted as a judgment, a hidden strength, or even a threat. Today, we're going to explore exactly why your quiet presence is more intimidating than a loud argument, and how it's one of your greatest, most misunderstood superpowers. Let's first understand the mechanics of a typical argument. A loud confrontation, for all its chaos, is a script. It's a predictable dance. Person A raises their voice. Person B gets defensive and raises their voice in return. It's a feedback loop of reactivity. Our brains, while stressed, recognize the pattern. We know what's happening. The human brain is a prediction machine. It craves certainty and patterns to conserve energy. A loud argument, while unpleasant, provides a clear, albeit negative, pattern. Now introduce quiet presence into that equation. You don't follow the script, you don't raise your voice, you don't offer the expected defensive reaction. You create a vacuum, a social void. The other person has sent out a high energy signal and received nothing back. Their brain scrambles. Error, pattern not found. This is where the intimidation begins. It's not you that's intimidating, it's the void. The human brain abhors a vacuum and rushes to fill it with its own assumptions. Your silence becomes a projection screen for their insecurities. They think, "He thinks I'm stupid. She knows something I don't. They are judging me and finding me wanting." The second psychological principle at play is the perception of self-control. A loud, reactive person is demonstrating that their emotional state is being controlled by an external force, your words or actions. They are a ship being tossed around in a storm. Their reactivity signals a lack of internal control. A quiet, non-reactive person, on the other hand, signals the opposite. You are the lighthouse in that same storm. Unmoved, unshakable. Your calmness shows that your emotional state is regulated internally. You are not being controlled by the chaos, you are in control of yourself. In any social dynamic, the person with the most self-control is perceived as having the most power. It's that simple. This doesn't mean being passive or disconnected, it means being present. Your silence is not empty, it's attentive. It says, "I am here, I am listening, and I am not easily swayed." So, how can you cultivate and use this quiet power constructively, not as a weapon, but as a tool for better communication and inner peace? Here are a few micro actions to practice. Number 1, master the conscious pause. When you feel the urge to react, to defend, to fill the silence, don't. Instead, do this. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, and breathe out for 4. This is not about ignoring the other person. It's a circuit breaker for your own nervous system. It buys you a few precious seconds to move from pure reptilian reaction to thoughtful human response. Number 2, grounded body language. Your silence can be perceived as aggressive or passive-aggressive if your body is closed off. So, uncross your arms, relax your shoulders. Keep your hands visible and relaxed. Maintain soft, steady eye contact. This non-verbal communication says, "I'm not a threat, but I'm also not a doormat. I am present." Number 3, the acknowledging nod. While someone is talking, especially if they are agitated, a slow, deliberate nod can be incredibly powerful. It doesn't mean I agree with you, it means I hear you. It validates their right to speak and feel, which can de-escalate a situation faster than any rebuttal. It shows you're engaged, not checked out. Number 4, the clarifying question. After they have finished their tirade and the silence hangs in the air, don't fill it with your own opinion. Instead, ask one simple, clarifying question. Say something like, "So if I'm understanding correctly, you feel frustrated because you believe X happened?" This does two things. First, it forces them to switch from their emotional brain to their logical brain. Second, it shifts the dynamic. You are no longer a passive target. You are an active, thoughtful listener trying to understand. This is profoundly disarming. You've taken all their aggressive energy and calmly handed it back to them in the form of a question they must now answer logically. But now, for the most important insight, the one that ties all of this together. These actions, the pause, the posture, the nod, the question, are just tools. They are the what. But the why and the how are far more critical. The ultimate shift happens when you realize this isn't about a tactic. Your quiet presence is not a weapon you wield to intimidate people. It's a reflection of the stillness you cultivate within. You cannot fake this. People can sense authentic calm versus a forced, tense silence. A tense silence is a coiled spring, ready to snap. It's filled with unspoken resentment and fear. That is intimidating in a negative, destructive way. A calm presence is a deep, grounded stillness. It comes from doing the inner work, from learning to observe your own emotional reactions without being consumed by them. The real goal is not to win arguments by being quiet. The goal is to become so internally secure that external chaos no longer has the power to disturb your peace. This is the true source of your power. It's not about being silent, it's about being centered. People aren't intimidated by your lack of words. They are intimidated and often drawn to the depth from which that silence originates. So, if you are a quiet person, stop seeing it as a weakness. Stop trying to be the loudest person in the room. Instead, embrace your nature. Nurture your inner world. Read, reflect, spend time in nature, meditate, journal. Do whatever it takes to build that unshakable core of inner peace. Your quietness is not an absence of noise. It is the presence of depth. It is a space where true listening can happen. It is a sign of strength, not weakness. And when you stand in that quiet strength, you give others a choice. They can either meet you in that calm space, or they can exhaust themselves fighting a battle you simply refuse to attend. Just slow down. You don't have to have the last word. Sometimes having the last silence is infinitely more powerful.